Kristi Feist, Payday HCM, and in this video, we're going to walk through the #1 question we receive when doing a conversion for payroll and payroll-related services. And that question is, what do I need to extract from my current service provider? What I'm going to provide is comprehensive, but know that it's not all-inclusive. It could vary by industry, depending upon some of the data that you're keeping in the system. So make sure to take a 360 review of everything that's in the system, but here are some key guidelines. The #1 thing I would make sure to get would be your quarterly reports. So your 940s, your 941, you're going to get your state unemployment and your monthly wage withholding reports. Those are always good to have on file. Another piece of information that I would get is if you have a 401k, plan for the data extraction around your 401k annual census report. Get the information you need for your annual census and your 401k. So from the start of the year, especially to the date of transition, because your current 401k provider is not only going to need what we pick up and what we start reporting on, but they're going to want the historical year's data as well. An important group of information that you might want to obtain as well is based on your workers' compensation fiscal year. A lot of policies run from July 1st to June 30th. So if you're leaving mid-year, get that workers' comp report from January of the year you're converting up to the current date. That's based on your fiscal year. So that way you have that information and it's easier to consolidate once that annual review comes up. A lot of people ask if my PDF documents are going to come over. The answer is no. Unless you make an arrangement with the current payroll service provider or the new service provider, chances are they're only going to bring over data fields, and that is information that can be extracted. PDFs and other attachments that might be under the employee demographic profile or the employee profile file, those typically don't come over, so those will need to be downloaded manually and then attached to the employee profile, either in the new system or on a local drive. Depending upon how long you've been with your service provider, I highly recommend getting a payroll details report by year. So most service bureaus can provide you a report by employee, by check date, from January 1 to year end. That puts all your wages, taxes, deductions, everything on one file. And it's just a standard report, but it's nice to have on file if down the road you need to access that information. A lot of times, Department of Labor, IRS, other various agencies, there's not always on track, and they could be up to 2 to 3 years behind. Other important information would be an employee profile report. Why this is important is because if you ever need to contact maybe a terminated employee, historically, we don't have that information once they leave. But in the current year, if they have access about where you sent their W-2s or they have other questions, you have means to get a hold of them. And contacting former employees isn't always a bad thing. They might be someone eligible for rehire, and if you have a position open, then you know how to get a hold of them. This one's not as important, but it is something that you might want to consider, and that is downloading the emergency contacts for the employees as well. I don't think you can ever have too much contact information on file, but again, just make sure you're storing the information securely and just be mindful of where you're keeping it. And as you're going through conversion, once we get to the final timeline, one thing you're going to want to make sure to communicate to your former payroll company is what taxes need to be refunded, what taxes they need to pay, and of course, who is filing W-2s for that current year. I know payroll conversions are never easy. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please contact anybody on the Payday team and we can help walk you through this. It's a lot of information, but we're happy to assist any way we can. If you found this helpful, click the link in the description. It'll lead you to our one sheet on best practices and what to download.